From advertising to software as a service to data.
Across all of our programs and clients, we've seen a 55 to 65% open rate.
Getting brands authentically integrated into content performs better than TV advertising.
Typical lifespan of an article is about 24 to 36 hours.
If we're reaching out to the right person with the right message and a clear call to action, then it's just a matter of timing.
Welcome to the MarTech Podcast, a Ben J. Schaap LLC production. In this podcast, you'll hear the stories of world-class marketers that use technology to drive business results and achieve career success. We'll unearth the real-world experiences of some of the brightest minds in the marketing and technology space so you can learn the tools, tips, and tricks they've learned along the way. Now here's the host of the MarTech Podcast, Benjamin Shapiro.
Welcome back to the MarTech Podcast. Okie dokie. Today, we're going to continue our conversation about a topic that is the future of digital marketing, artificial intelligence. Joining us is Magnus Unemyr, who is a marketing automation consultant and the author of Data-Driven Marketing with Artificial Intelligence. Outside of being an author and a speaker, Magnus is a former Internet of Things software developer turned internet marketer and marketing automation consultant. He supports his clients with inbound content marketing, sales funnel, and marketing tool optimization. In our last episode, Magnus gave us an overview of what is marketing automation and some of the best practices, some of the tools that people are using to drive efficiency and create growth. If you missed that episode, it's really insightful. Go ahead, go back and give it a listen. But today, Magnus is going to focus specifically about how to integrate artificial intelligence into your marketing automation. Here is the rest of our interview with Magnus Unemyr, the author of Data-Driven Marketing with Artificial Intelligence. Magnus, welcome back to the MarTech Podcast.
Thank you very much.
Great to have you back again. And again, thank you for staying up late. I know it's probably getting on in the evening in Sweden where you're based, so we appreciate you sticking with us.
No problem.
So in our last conversation, we talked about marketing automation, the aspect of tracking behavior of your prospects to understand how they're engaging with your content, creating lead scores to understand which prospects are the most valuables, using triggers to push messaging out to them, and modifying your content to make sure that you're delivering the right message to the right person at the right time. Today, I want to focus our conversation about how technology is growing and marketing automation is actually being automated through artificial intelligence. So first off, artificial intelligence means a lot of things to a lot of different people. Everything I know about it, I learned from the Terminator movies with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Can you give me a marketer's version of what artificial intelligence actually means?
It's a very good question, and I'm not really sure I have a good answer. The reason is that artificial intelligence, or AI, comes into every part of the marketing industry, and we will find AI to move its way into pretty much every corner of the marketing industry. There are hundreds of marketing automation software solutions already on the open market where you can buy software tools that uses AI to improve the efficiency and the results of what they do. What is really interesting with AI, or perhaps you should call it machine learning more correctly, is that any solution that uses AI or machine learning is data-driven. So it makes decisions and predictions that are based on numerical facts rather than gut feeling. And the other interesting aspect of AI or machine learning is that those software algorithms are adaptive and they can change and optimize their own behavior over time as new data becomes available.
So talk to me about where machine learning and artificial intelligence are being used the most in marketing today.
There are already many solutions on the market, so hundreds of them. There are AI-powered marketing solutions that uses something called natural language processing to harvest vast amounts of information from different websites, tens of millions of websites on the internet, and find competitive and market intelligence from that data. There are certain tools that are using AI to improve the return of investment on digital ads, and there are AI tools that do campaign optimization. So those software tools will actually buy digital ads autonomously and shift the ad budget automatically over time across channels during different times of the day using different creatives to make sure that each ad is producing the best result for the dollar spent. A very large use of AI currently is hyper-personalization, where we can predict which content most likely resonates with a particular website visitor or email recipient. There are AI tools that helps with content optimization or content strategy, and that can be used for search engine optimization or just to understand which blog posts should resonate better with the readers. A very interesting use of AI is CRO, conversion ratio optimization. And there are AI tools that can automatically change the design of your landing pages to make it produce better results. So those AI tools will use something called genetic algorithms and try different design variations in different generations. So the first generation will try some design aspect, for example, the color of a call to action button. And then it tries different versions, and whichever version produces the best result is then the parent of a new generation of offspring tries different design changes, for example, the font, text size, or imagery. And if you have enough traffic to your landing page, such AI tools can generate hundreds or thousands of different design variations of a landing page to work out automatically which design combination produces the best conversion ratio.
So what are the types of businesses that are integrating AI? You mentioned there's natural language processing for marketing intelligence, campaign optimization for advertising, content optimization, conversion rate optimization. Are these primarily large enterprise companies? Are the service providers building AI services expensive? Help me understand where AI is being applied today.
There are obviously different tools in different price ranges. I think that many of the solutions I mentioned are quite enterprise grade. However, hyper-personalization is available from many companies, even at fairly low price point. Many web shops or e-commerce platforms have product recommendation systems or personalized search result systems that are not too expensive. There are tools that uses AI for CRM data enrichment, harvesting more information about customers and employees on those companies from the internet, sales prospecting tools, for example. So I would say there are a wide range of services in different areas that cost very different amounts of money. I use a quite interesting tool, which is quite cheap. It's called Lumen 5. And Lumen 5 is a small software tool that helps auto-generate video clips that promote blog posts. So if I write a blog post, I can enter the URL to that blog post into this tool, and their AI engine will harvest information from my blog post and work out which keywords seems to be the most important in the blog post, and it turns those into headings. And then it lays out scenes, much like slides in a PowerPoint presentation. And it finds free imagery or free video clips from the internet that seems to be connected to those keywords. And then it auto-generates a short video that can be used to promote the blog post.
It's funny, you're the second person to mention Lumen 5 to me this week. Actually, I think I heard of it on the social media marketing podcast that I listened to. And we are actually very close to testing Lumen 5 to take some of the audio clips that we have, which we transcribe for this podcast, and turn them into short form content to then publish in our social media posts.
Mm-hmm. Another interesting aspect of that tool is that if you have a blog and you feed new blog posts every week or month in a RSS feed, then that tool can actually monitor and listen to the RSS feed. And whenever you publish a new blog post, they auto-generate a movie.
Very interesting. So tell me some of the other tools that you're using personally that are related to AI.
I've been using predictive lead scoring for a while. We talked about that in the previous episode a little bit, but traditionally, lead scoring has been about designing a mathematical algorithm that tries to guesstimate how close someone is to buy. But with predictive lead scoring, we use AI technologies to predict how close someone is to buy. And the way that works is that the AI algorithm analyzes existing customers and works out how they behaved before they became customers. And then the tool can compare the behavior of a new lead who is not yet a customer with the behavior of those who are now customers, but before they became customers. Typically, you get a lead scoring range of 0% to 100%, which is a guesstimate on how ready that person is to buy soon.
So before somebody actually engages with your content, you're able to map them to previous customers. How much traffic do you need to be able to create a predictive lead scoring algorithm?
I think the amount of traffic is not necessarily the right measure here. I think you need, for example, in HubSpot, you need to have a minimum 500 paying customers as a reference to compare to for the algorithm to have enough data to be trained on. So you need to have hundreds or preferably thousands of people to train the algorithm on.
Right. Of course, you need a large enough base of conversions for the predictive algorithm to understand who to copy, right? What are the common threads?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any other artificial intelligence tools that you're using?
Yeah, I think perhaps one of the most common usages of AI today is in chat robots. As we all know, chat robots is expected to be the next big thing after websites, email marketing, and social media marketing. So chat robots are going to be a very big thing, probably in the near future. Many of these chatbot platforms are using AI to a larger or smaller extent to implement the chatbot platform that you can use to create your own personalized chatbot for your particular company.
So what extent are chatbots actually useful? How far of a conversation can they carry on?
It depends a little bit about what platform you use to build it and how much effort you put into training it. I would say that most chatbots today are not as intelligent as people may think. So most chatbots are not very good at handling completely open-ended questions or conversations that are more reasoning rather than specific questions. I think the most successful and easy to implement chatbots today are quite narrow, and they are driving the conversation in a quite controlled manner. So typically, many chatbots today are asking questions, and the person chatting with it just have to select predefined answers. So there may be a question, and there may be 3, 4, or 5 predefined answers as selection buttons that you can click, and dependent on whatever you click, then the chatbot will continue with a new question and narrow down the question, for example, and eventually be able to answer a frequently asked question or a pre-sales question, for example.
So I have a very difficult question for you. What's the meaning of life?
Yeah, 42, I think.
I just wanted to make sure that you weren't a chatbot. You came up with at least an answer.
Yeah. But as we all heard earlier this year, Google presented a new technology whereby a voice chatbot can not only answer incoming questions, but they can actually initiate outbound phone calls and call people and have conversation with people. And that probably means that tens of thousands of people in the call center industry will be out of jobs in the next few years.
It's an interesting topic is when you go farther and farther in marketing automation and using artificial intelligence, as technology becomes more pervasive, theoretically, jobs are being reduced. How do you feel about the use of artificial intelligence and how that affects the workforce?
So AI will not be only transformative for the marketing industry, but it will be disruptive. AI will be in every part of the marketing industry, and there is no way to change that. It's just a fact that we will have to accept. I think we will also have to accept that some jobs will be lost to AI in the marketing industry, but there will be new jobs created as well. The jobs that will probably be lost first is any job description that have to do with analyzing data to make data-driven decisions, as well as repetitive work tasks of any type. So if your job is to analyze the return of investment on, for example, digital ad purchases, then you probably will be replaced by an AI robot fairly soon. But if your job is more strategic or creative, you design graphics, for example, then you're safe a bit longer at least. But I think we should see that AI is augmented marketeers and helping them such that we can spend more time doing the interesting stuff rather than doing just the grunt work.
So podcast hosts are safe.
I think so.
Good. Okay. Tell me a little bit about your book. What's the purpose of the book? Why did you write it? And what does it cover?
So I wrote the book because I couldn't find what I felt was a really good book on marketing with artificial intelligence. There were only a handful of books on the market, and they were either not particularly good or they were targeted towards a specific part of the industry that didn't interest me too much. So my aim was to create the definitive guide on marketing with artificial intelligence and try to make the book that provides the best overview of a topic. And it is written in a popular scientific level, so any CEO or CMO or digital marketing manager should be able to understand it. But it tries to go a little bit deeper than just the philosophical topics as well.
Great. Well, you've been an author of multiple books. One of them you've kindly offered to give to our listeners. So why don't you tell our listeners not only about your artificial intelligence book, where can they find that, but the other book that you've offered to give away to our listeners?
So my latest book, Data-Driven Marketing with Artificial Intelligence, is for sale in print and ebook versions on Amazon. But I also wrote another book on traditional marketing automation, and that book is called Mastering Online Marketing. It's 240 pages, and you can download a PDF version of that for free. And you just go to unemyr.com/getbook to download that book on marketing automation for free.
Okay, unemyr.com/getbook. And Unemyr.com is spelled UNEMYR.com/getbook. Magnus, I want to thank you for telling us a little bit about marketing automation, about artificial intelligence. It's been a pleasure to have you on the podcast, and thank you for staying up late to be our guest.
And thank you for inviting me.
Okay, that wraps up this episode of the Martech Podcast. Thanks again to Magnus for joining us. If you'd like to learn more about Magnus, you can click on his bio in our show notes or visit his website, unemyr.com, UNEMYR.com. And if you're interested in Magnus's book, you can go to unemyr.com/getbook. If you're a subscriber to the Martech Podcast, thank you. I hope you are enjoying this podcast. We love bringing them to you. We appreciate you listening and dedicating your time to learning more about marketing. We consider you part of our community, so if you have questions, if you'd like to reach our guests, if you have comments on an episode, or if you have topics that you would like us to cover, go to the link to our show notes. There's a Contact Us link, or you can reach out to us on social media. There's links in the show notes there to find us on LinkedIn and Twitter. My handle is Ben J. Shap, LLC, pretty much every social media platform. If you haven't subscribed yet and you want a weekly stream of marketing and technology knowledge in your podcast feed, we've got some great episodes lined up. We're talking about Instagram, about privacy, about YouTube, about enterprise level marketing. There's a ton of marketing material that we're going to cover in the next few weeks. So hit that subscribe button in your podcast app. Okay, that's it for today. But until next time, my advice is to just focus on keeping your customers happy.